The Salt Path is new in cinemas, so let's talk about it. Hi, welcome back to the video, a brand new movie review. Today I'm talking more about the brand new movie, The Salt Path, which is in UK cinemas right now. Before we start talking about it, as always, a friendly reminder, these are just my thoughts, so don't let this dictate whether or not you decide to go and see it in the cinema. You might see it and feel totally differently to me, and that's okay, because movies aren't made to cater for everyone. Without any further ado, let's start talking about the movie, because that is why you're here. And do you know what? I actually saw this advertised quite a lot. I feel like they started advertising this and putting it in the trailers before movies in the cinema quite a while ago. So I've seen it a long time before it came out. And I really wanted to see it. I wanted to check it out. It wasn't one that I was, like I say, dying to see, but it was one that I did want to check out, and I checked it out the day after its opening release day here in the UK. And do you know what? I enjoyed it. It's obviously based on the book, and after watching it, I believe it's also a true story. So I think the actual book is based on a true story, and then they've based the film on the book, which is a true story. I think that's what I gather, but it's definitely based on the book. I've never read the book, and I'm not gonna lie, I was very dubious when I walked into the screen, and it was really busy, but it was busy with people that have retired, people that are a lot older than myself, and it was like I don't know. It was a lot of older people in the nicest way possible, and I was like, ouch, because does that mean that I've completely missed something here? Is this not going to be for me? I was a bit dubious, and I did look like a bit of an odd one out in the screening. However, I watched it and I enjoyed it. I thought this film was fun, and it had its moments that were really good. But on the whole, I just felt it was a really badly paced film. It was really long, nearly 2 hours, and it just felt very slow, very dragged out. And it sort of felt like this was a good book, but making it into a movie, there's only so many montages you can do of two people walking, because that's essentially what the film is. And after a while, it just became very samey, very repetitive. The same sort of thing kept happening. And sometimes I was like, is that a bit unrealistic? But it's got to be realistic because it's based on a true story. So there were moments where I was like, okay, I'm getting a bit bored now. But having said that, I do like the way that they portrayed this film. And they began the story kind of halfway through the story. Because we join the story when they're setting out on their walk. And throughout the film, we go back to almost what was the beginning of their story and find out, and it sort of fills the blanks until we catch up and we're kind of in the actual moment of what's happening, and this is the rest of the story, if that makes sense. But they kept going back and telling the start of the story to co-align with where we are, and I don't know, if you watch the film you'll get what I'm trying to say, and they kept going back and it made sense, and I really enjoyed the way that they did that, because it was something a bit different. You know, there's films that have done similar things, but not very often is it done like that, and I enjoyed it, and I do think it helped me kept me a bit more engaged, because I was starting not to lose interest, but I was like, it broke it up a little bit. I felt like there was more to watch rather than just people walking along the seafront. And like I say, it's a fun film. I think it definitely is for people that are a fan of the books, obviously, and it's definitely for people that are, I would say, more of an older audience than it is really teenagers and people of my age. Having said that though, I had a good time with it. I felt a lot of emotion for these characters, and this is a really nice film about courage, motivation, strength, and like determination. It's about, you know, people might not be there for you when you really need them to be, and that's the sorry state of what life is. Do you know what I mean? And there's more to everyone's story than face value, and I think it has a really beautiful message of people may seem okay, but there's actually a lot more going on behind closed doors that you wouldn't know about, and this film captures that message and that imagery quite nicely, and I think it's just a gentle reminder of the fact that sometimes we take things for granted. Sometimes we take the fact that we can walk downstairs to the fridge and pick up a snack or a nice drink and not have to think twice about it. Sometimes people can't do that. And I think this was just a really nice film capturing that, capturing the importance and the importance of being grateful for what we have. And I think that's kind of what this film did for me more than anything. I think although they dragged out this film, I think the ending was a bit rushed. I think they could have done a little bit more with the ending. But on the whole, this was a good film. I enjoyed it. It's a really nice one-time watch. And it's definitely a good film for the right audience, if that makes sense. So that's what I've got to say on The Salt Path. In cinemas across the UK right now, before I sign off, as always, what would you rate it out of 10? Would you join my DVD collection? Well, I'm going to give this film slap bang in the middle, 5 out of 10. Like I say, I enjoyed it. I had a nice time with it. And it did what it needed to do for me. But that's about it. It is a one-time watch. So with that in mind, will it be joining my collection? No, I don't have any plans for it to join my collection. I might rewatch it on streaming someday, not very soon, because, like I say, it's a bit of a one-time watch for me. But I had fun with it. And there you go. That's what I've got to say on The Salt Path. In cinemas across the UK right now, in the description below is the movie plot, a link to the movie trailer, as well as a link to my movie review playlist, which contains every single movie review that I've ever done. More to come very soon, and I shall see you, hopefully, in another one of those very, very, very soon.